Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 16th of January 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few charts, the usual stuff. So yep, I hope you can all hear me well, hear me okay. I'm just looking at the system that I'm running here, so it seems that there is a slight delay in the broadcast, so yep, I hope you guys can hear me well. Okay, so before we start jumping into the chart, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. There's always a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, guys, hello and welcome everyone. I mean, I hope you can hear me okay, because I am having a few technical issues here this morning. So if you missed my greeting, so yeah, welcome everyone, guys. Welcome to this Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. So today's the 16th of January 2019. So yep, I hope, like I said, I hope now we're running well. I can see that it seems to be broadcasting right now. So once again, guys, hello. And before the usual thing, let me, if you already heard this, but let me just quickly repeat that we need to quickly read through our little risk disclaimer here. So I'll give you a few moments to have a read through that, and we can jump into the charts. Okay, so putting all the technical issues aside, so now let's quickly jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is silver. Now, very interesting developments here happening in silver. So of course you can see that it's kind of currently moving nowhere, and I'm looking at this 4-hour chart because it's, to be honest, it's a more clear picture here on this time frame. So what we can see here is that the commodity is trading now between kind of these two levels, the 15.50 and the 15.75 here on the upside. Of course, some of you could in a way draw something like this as well, just to kind of probably just to kind of have it on your chart. In a way, we do have something like an ascending triangle here, or should I say maybe just a triangle in general, but nevertheless something like this that we're having here on our charts. For now we remain cautious on this one. Certainly if this is forming a nice descending triangle here, if it is that, then certainly the textbooks normally recommend to watch out for breakthrough the lower side of it. But again, we know that several times we had the textbooks get it wrong, and we have a breakthrough the upper side here. So that's why for now we're not going to over speculate too much on this one. We're going to continue observing it. I'm going to stay neutral for now and just keep an eye on these levels here. So in a way, if we do get a nice pop here through the upper side of this triangle, yes, we will start looking at higher levels, but to be honest, for better confirmation, we'll need to see a nice good break above the 15.75 level, and this way we will target the recent highs which we saw here near the 15.86, something like that, approximately there. But to be honest, if that doesn't hold, if that's just going to be seen as a little pit stop for silver, then yep, further acceleration to the upside could be possible, and this is where we will target the 16 level. It will be very interesting to see if it actually reaches that. But on the downside, if this suddenly drops below the this lower side of the triangle and the breaks below the 15.50 level, now this is where it could become more interesting for the bears, and we could see more of them jumping in here and trying to push the price back down here towards the levels like the 15.25. Of course, we'll heavily monitor the 200 EMA here shown as the black line, but also depending on the if the selling momentum is going to be very strong. Of course, we're going to keep an eye on this little upside support line here. Let me just kind of adjust it a little bit slightly. There we go. And that support line was taken from the lows of November, so also good potential area for a test. Certainly something could be interesting for the bulls later on. If, let's say, this continues to drive further down here, if it fails to drop below this upside support line, then could be proven to be a nice bouncing ground for this commodity to kind of reverse back up here and push towards much higher levels. Certainly, in looking at the longer term, from the longer term perspective, in a way, this could be an interesting one, an interesting scenario. Let's say if silver now wants to continue pushing higher in the long run, and I'm talking about like a few months now, maybe years. Of course, this decline here could be this little nice good correction before another push higher. But again, let's not over speculate here too much. From the very short term perspective, let's keep an eye on this little formation that we're having here. Let's see which way it's going to break, and let's keep a close eye on these levels. On the upside, the 15.75, and on the downside, the 15.50. Jumping into one crypto, looking at the daily, of course, well, to be honest, the daily is a bit of a mess here. Certainly just kind of mention quickly that we're still above this little tentative upside support line taken from the lows of September last year, and of course we can see that it had this is where it confirmed that line in December, and certainly now the crypto is kind of stuck here near the 0.33 level. But jumping back into the 4-hour chart in this one, we can see that today, of course, is trading slightly below the pivot. Of course, there is a chance for this one to push higher, given the fact that it's kind of still forming higher lows. In a way, this could be seen as a bullish sign, and well, in a way it is seen as a bullish sign. But the only problem with this one is because it's so sometimes unpredictable that, to be honest, I mean, for now we're just going to continue observing some key support and resistance levels, and then we'll kind of aim for the either side. So in a way, long story short, guys, so if this decides to travel back up here and starts moving towards the recent highs near the 0.3480 level, now, of course, this could be seen a nice move here, and of course this could raise a bit more confidence for the bulls. But for better confirmation of the upside, we probably need to see a nice good move here above the 0.3545 area, approximately there. This was marked here by the lows. As you can see, it acted as a nice area of support here back in this on the 6th of January. It was also not far from the 1st of January, then December 22nd, and the December 19th. So quite a good strong area of support, but now it could play out as a nice area of resistance. So keep your eyes on that one. A nice good break above that level could potentially open the path towards slightly higher levels, and this is where we will aim for the 0.39 or even higher. On the downside, well, if this starts dropping below this little area here, let me just quickly mark that on our chart. This is what I'm talking about, the 0.3190 level, approximately there. A nice good break below that could send this crypto towards the retest of this short-term tentative upside support line that I was talking about. But to be honest, if it fails to hold, then further declines are possible, but slightly better potential area of support could be seen near the 0.2165, which was marked here by the lowest point of December last year. So keep your eyes on that one, guys. For, like I said, for the upside, it's still, we're going to be playing a bit of a cautious game here. The 0.3545 level could be that opening, that gate towards higher levels, and on the downside is the 0.3190 level that we're keeping a close eye on, so keep your eyes on that one. Jumping into Euro USD, now this one is a very interesting one. So just quickly back into the daily chart on this one. Yesterday, of course, I was talking about this one in my Traders Tea Time, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on the 114.25. If this gets broken, there is a good strong potential for this pair to move lower, maybe to test this this upside support line, the short-term upside support line taken from the lows of November last year, and we could maybe see something like this, like a curve, a nice, if of course, if this upside support line fails to get broken, we could see this such a move here, and the bulls could start jumping in and pushing this pair back up here again. But of course, this is just a bit of speculation here right now. So for now, certainly the momentum is more to the downside. Let's see if it actually reaches this upside support line. But if it doesn't, then well, I mean, keep a close eye on it. If this suddenly reverses back up here and pushes back above the 114.25 level, certainly the downside could be slightly off the table. We could see maybe this one traveling back up towards the 115 level. It will be very interesting to watch that. But let's say if this travels lower, and if the upside support line kind of fails to hold this pair from moving lower, then of course a break below the 113.40 level could be that signal for more bulls to start stepping in here. Oh, sorry, bulls, some more bears to start stepping in here and drive this pair a little bit lower here. We do have some good potential areas of support here around the 113.05 or even the 112.70. So keep your eyes on that one. GBPUSD, now of course this one took the center stage yesterday, and talk about speculation here, guys. I mean, looking at this yesterday, it was declining the whole day. Almost managed to reach this upside, the short-term upside support line taken from the lows of December, and it kind of fell shy of just a few pips of touching the 126.60 level. Now this 126.60 level, I do understand it has been violated a few times, but kind of in the past, to be honest, it still kind of plays out as somewhat as a psychological level, to be honest. So it's the price the rate continued to trade around that level, but you can see that kind of never gonna manage to reach that, and rebounded and pushed higher back up and closed the day almost where it started off the day. So today is going to be very interesting to watch, certainly from the short-term perspective. Jumping into the 4-hour chart on this one. Yep, you can see that, yep, it recovered. Yes, it could potentially push higher, but to be honest, in order to start considering higher levels, we would need to see a nice good pop above this little area of resistance around the 129.15. Here, if we do get that move higher, then yep, it could be opening the path towards higher levels like the 130 or the slightly above the 130.30 marked by the high of the 15th of November. So keep your eyes on this one. If this suddenly reverses back down and starts dropping below the pivot today, this pivot is around the 128.15 zone. Now this is where you could in a way start looking at lower levels, maybe even actually going back towards the yesterday's lows, below the 128 level and around the 127. So keep your eyes on that one. Certainly for now, guys, this is a very tricky one. Like yesterday, yeah, we saw this reversal, strong reversal back up here, but then again, be very careful with it. And like we will only, for today, for example, just for today, a drop below the 128.15 level could potentially open the path towards lower levels, but on the upside here is the 129.15 level that we're keeping a close eye on. A nice good pop above that could send this pair a little bit higher. Jumping into USDCHF, now this is a very interesting one, and looking at this, of course, and I was talking about this one in my previous videos, guys, and I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this little downside resistance line, and of course we had a nice push here. We managed to break the 0.9850 level also, which I mentioned, and of course now we're breaking the downside resistance line taken from the highs of November last year. the big question here is, of course, the day has just started, and is this going to continue pushing higher here, or actually we're going to get a reversal back, a drop back below this line or not? So for now, I would probably suggest to stay very cautious. If we start moving above these yesterday's highs, which were around the 0.9895 level, certainly this increases the chances for this pair to travel a little bit higher, maybe towards the 0.9920 zone marked near the highs of the 2nd of January. And if that fails to withhold the kind of the bull pressure here, further acceleration to the upside could be possible as well. But so for now, guys, long story short, for today, keep your eyes on the 0.9895 level. A nice good pop above this could open the path towards higher levels, but if this suddenly reverses back down, well, and gets back below this downside resistance line, now this is where you should probably start worrying a little bit, and this is where we will aim for the 0.9850 level again, as the first potential good strong area of support. So keep your eyes on that one, guys. Let's see how this plays out. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, but don't want to spend too much time on it. Basically, this is the GBPJPY. Yesterday I was talking about this one, and initially, of course, we were in yesterday, let's put it that way, yesterday in the morning we were having a nice push higher, but then it started, or sorry, let me rewind this a little bit, guys. In the first half of the day, we were pushing lower. It managed to get back below this downside resistance line, but after the UK Parliament vote, the pair quickly managed to get back up here, back above this this downside resistance line. Some could say maybe it's a bit of a tentative one, but nevertheless, it kind of played out still nicely here. So we're now just sitting slightly above it. What we're going to keep a close eye on here is, of course, these yesterday's highs, which were near the 140.45 level. Let me just adjust this chart a little bit, guys. So this is where we're going to target first. If this gets a nice push above the 144.45 level, now this is where it could become more interesting for the bulls, because this could open the path towards higher levels, and this is where we could then aim for the 143.20 or even higher. But for, again, long story short, guys, keep an eye on the 140.45 level. This could be that gateway towards higher levels. On the downside, if this suddenly drops below this downside resistance line, now this is where you could, where the bulls should start worrying again, because this could increase the chances of this one traveling back down towards this key area of support near the 137.50 level. As you can see, that kind of continues to play out nicely. So basically, what we're gonna look at here is the if we're gonna get a nice drop here below the 137.50, this is where we will start looking at much lower levels in the near term, and this is where we'll aim for the 135.60 or even lower. But for now, we're just gonna probably stay more neutral, just continue observing this this price action and keep a close eye on these levels that I've just mentioned. Okay, guys, I hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. And I do apologize if there were any, well, if you experienced some technical issues together with me around this video. And if you want to join me later on, my traders tea time, and that's 14:15 GMT time. But for now, I hope you have a fantastic trading day. Be safe, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.